Hey guys, how's it going? So basically about a year ago, I tried to download a bunch of songs that aren't released on streaming services like Spotify or Apple Music, just so I can have easy access to them and integrate them in my playlist and everything, but I ended up running into some issues. If you haven't gone down the unreleased rabbit hole yet, you should know that there are so many rare leaks and great songs that never got an official release. A lot of the time, the stuff that didn't make the album ends up being better than the released stuff. If you came up around the late 2010s SoundCloud rap era, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Most of the time, they're available on YouTube or SoundCloud. But a lot of time, due to licensing, most likely the song would just disappear from your playlist at some point, leaving you searching for it again and maybe ending up on a different version or a lower quality one. I even have a similar problem with Spotify because sometimes songs get removed due to licensing and there isn't any sign of them except their unclickable grayed out corpse in your playlist. And for me, I feel like I'm collecting music when I find new stuff and love seeing the number on my master playlist going up. So the thought of classics just being gone and lost over time really bothers me. I have that problem with streaming movies where I need the disc or file because I don't even trust it when you buy the movie through their digital store because there always ends up being problems with offline viewing even though you downloaded it. It's always better just to have a physical disc or the file. But anyway, long story short, I downloaded a bunch of unreleased music from YouTube and the greater internet and put them on the iPhone. You just need to turn on downloaded music on Spotify and you're pretty much good to go. Perfect solution, right? But what ended up happening over time is the songs got grayed out just like Spotify, even though they were downloaded files talking about some kind of region error. I couldn't believe that they actually scanned the downloaded songs to check for licensing, who would have known? But yeah, over the course of 4 months, the songs were pretty much all gone, but the file's still there and playable on the computer. At least they don't delete the file, that would be messed up. So even though that sucked, I realized that gave me a reason to get a little iPod type device in the modern age. Because even though it'd be cool to get one, it would end up being useless after a while because it'd be a harder version of doing what the iPhone could do. But there was literally something this ultra powerful device was still not capable of, that I'd have to get something separate. Honestly, I'm all down, because it would add another layer of nostalgia to playing these classic tracks that are hard to come by. For the most part, I like to keep it to bare essentials on the things that I carry every day, because when it comes down to it, most additional things I tried to add end up not being used because it isn't useful enough to remember or want to bring all the time, or the iPhone ends up being able to do it. But this is something where I love music so much that I know this will be something that I take with me on long rides, vacations, or even just doing everyday things. I ended up watching a bunch of videos of people putting modern specs on old iPod shells, which was super dope, and I think I might end up doing something like that in the future. But I realized that working a 9 to 5 job, it'd be easier to just get something off the shelf for now. So there are 3 main things I need from this thing. One is that it doesn't have any licensing scans where it would block any songs. 2, I need to be able to load music onto it quickly with all of its data like tracklist, order, and album art. 3, I want it to have a simple, usable UI based on music only, so no phone features or extra stuff. After buying the device, I would have added a couple more things to this list, but I'll explain that later. After searching through different options, I went with the HiBy because it seemed like what I needed at a comfortable price point of $139, where I know or would hope that everything would run smoothly and for a long time. Oh yeah, the device comes in 3 different colors, black, red, and silver. I got the silver one. I also just love the design with the little scroll wheel on the side. This thing is gorgeous, and the screen isn't too bad either. You can't really see it on the video, but my screen is already scratched in a pretty noticeable way, which I did. It didn't come like this. I think my dog walked over me or something with his nails and scratched it, but I'm not too concerned about it, but definitely get a screen protector if you want to be sure. Seeing this doesn't make me appreciate how insanely sturdy the glass is on modern iPhones. Another thing is the scroll wheel is a little loose for what I'd want, especially when you have it in your pocket. I have had times where the volume goes up or down when I'm walking with it, but it definitely clicks just right. Listen. Nice. It's weird because the default is for the soundbar to go to 100, but it takes way too many clicks just to get up that high. But at least you can go into settings and change the max volume to whatever number you want. But besides that, it's got a really clean, simple UI, pretty much exactly what I was looking for. You can change the theme color, which is pretty cool. It'd be nice to like really customize this thing though, with icons and different things, but maybe I'll have to see if I can mod it at some point to do all that. The speed or reliability with clicks definitely does not compare to a modern smartphone, but honestly, it all works fine. And it's nice to have USB-C input so that it doesn't need another plug. So, the first thing I did was plug in a cord from the device to the computer, and it doesn't show up. That's strange. I wonder what. Oh, you load the music through SD card. It would be nicer if this thing just had like a 300 gigabyte hard drive in it, but maybe the sizing wouldn't work out. but if they can make a 2 terabit micro SD, they could definitely have done some kind of internal storage that would have lasted forever damn near with music. Either way, this does cause you to have to get an SD card and an SD card reader if you don't have a device that can do that. Once I placed some test music onto the SD card to see how it would work, I put it in the HiBy and it didn't show up, because another strange thing is having to scan for your music every time you want to put in the SD card with new music. It's cute at first, but sometimes you end up having issues where it doesn't see the songs. This is usually resolved by just scanning it again, but one time I ran into an issue where it got stuck scanning for the music on the SD card and powering off didn't work, so I had to factory reset it, but thankfully there is an option to save your playlist. So after messing with it and loading up the songs, one issue that was pretty dire was that the albums weren't showing up in their tracklist order. After googling, I realized that I needed software to change the metadata and add a track number tag. The software I got was MusicBrainz Pickard, and it was free, but the process of adding the numbers and adding some of the other tags took forever. I ended up trying another program out, MP3 Tag, and this seems like the best way to do this sort of thing if you don't want to spend hours tagging your music. One crazy thing though that I've never encountered before is that the program is free on Windows, but on Mac it's $25 for literally the exact same app. Genuinely insane. I can't imagine what they were thinking. You at least get a 7-day trial, but damn. Just a couple things to know if you're doing the same thing is that there is the ability to scan your tracks against internet databases to automatically fill in metadata that you need. This is helpful some of the time, but a lot of the time it's better to just fill in the info real quick and get it exact. Also, remember to actually save the changes you made. You need to click the save button for it to be put on the file. This is how you can easily switch around tracks and auto number them. You basically just move them around and then click this numbered list on the top. And this is how you can remove things from the title like artist name or anything that is the same word across a bunch of tracks. This is for Mac, but it should be similar for Windows. Click the Actions button and then add an action group. Click the plus on the bottom right and then choose Replace with Regular Expression. In the field, you'll put Title, Reg.Exp, you put the words that you want to remove, and don't put anything in Replace if you just want the words removed. You'll also want to get the album arts to a 600 by 600 JPEG file because it's recommended to have a low data size for the images, so there isn't any problems with displaying it. At least for the HiBy, and the resolution looks fine on a screen like this. But once I got the track list right and the album art, it was honestly beautiful to see it all displayed on this little retro device in 2026. To listen to this thing, I've been rocking these wired earbuds because they're a simple plug-in where the AirPods. Honestly, with the AirPods, I can't even figure out how to put them in Bluetooth mode. They need at least one button on the front. I feel like they used to have one. The funny thing is, I've literally had the same problem with the HomePod. I have to factory reset the thing every time I want to pair it with something new because even though it basically has a button on the top, there's not a clear way of putting it in pair mode. They both do this thing where they show up immediately on nearby Apple devices when they're first switched on, which makes for a pretty and seamless pairing, but it's every time after that that becomes an issue. I feel like it's a mix of their minimalist view of removing all the buttons and their walled garden approach when it comes to their products, making it not straightforward to pair anything but Apple products. But whatever. What I was originally going to explain is with the wired earbuds, it's literally been so long since I've used the wires that they genuinely feel so antiquated for things like getting caught in everything, the cord not being long enough, and it getting completely tangled up in your pocket. And I don't know if it's the music that I'm playing, but the quality change was massive when I went to the AirPods with the iPhone after having these on for a while. But that would make sense when you look at the price difference. So it's not so bad, but maybe at some point I'll get another pair of wireless earbuds or a better set of wired ones. Unless I can finally figure out how to pair my AirPods to it. So, after using these things extensively for the past couple weeks, I have some conclusions. 1. In the core things that I need this thing to do, it does them. After all the setup, I finally have access to all the tracks that I love with the peace of mind that they won't disappear at any point. 2. One thing I didn't realize going in was all the extra costs that it was going to have. There is the initial device, but then I realized it doesn't have an internal storage and uses micro SD cards, so I had to buy one that was big enough so that I wouldn't hit the limit on the amount of songs I would want to have in a lifetime of using this thing. And then I realized Apple has removed everything from their computers but the USB and USB-C inputs, so I had to buy an extra piece that could read this. And then the final two things were the MP3 tag software to add the metadata and a purchase of the YouTube downloader that I would need to get all the songs I was looking for. The funny thing is, I got the downloader for $25 and then immediately realized the tier only gave you 128 kilobits of audio quality, and you needed to spend another $20 for the pro version to get the best quality. So all in all, this setup actually ended up costing around $300, which is more than I was thinking getting into this, but at the end of the day, these tracks mean so much to me, I still feel like it was all worth it. 3. One bottleneck I run into is adding more music to this thing that isn't on streaming services. This is a weird one because I realized even though my unreleased catalog was big, I would eventually bump through it all and end up having to find new stuff, and the main point was stuff that I couldn't get on normal streaming services. So I've had to get a little creative with it by looking online for cult leak music or checking out unreleased music trackers or looking up iconic DJ sets. I used to have this unreleased music tracker Google spreadsheet which had amazing detailed sheets for a ton of artists cataloging everything with download links, but it ended up getting removed and I've been trying to find it ever since. I think I want to try looking for CDs one of these days at thrift stores or record shops and turn them into files to load up onto this thing and see what lost mixes there are out there that are good. 4. All the little inconveniences do add up, like having to number the tracks, upload the album art, load the SD card, scan the music, etc. This all makes it so that I don't add new music as much as I would want to, but it is a fun ritual to do every couple weeks and also makes it so I covet the albums that I've spent time getting, even more than when they're on Spotify and I just click to add and easily move on to the next one. This whole experience also feels super nostalgic, which is definitely a reason I got this device, and at the end of the day, they aren't enough to make it impractical to use. Yeah, so I'm definitely happy with my purchase, and I will never forget this beautiful little piece of modern tech for the vibes it's given me and will continue to give me. Let me know if there's any other modern music players I should check out, because I'll probably end up trying some more stuff out at some point in the future. One last thing, here's a bunch of unreleased albums I found that are great if you're getting into this kind of thing, and even if not, look them up on YouTube and give them a listen. I think you'll find something you like. Also, let me know in the comments if you have any other hidden gems I should check out. One more last thing. I'm also thinking about maybe getting all the music I have on Spotify actually downloaded where I can have the files in the highest quality possible, and then getting all those tagged and organized so I can have the best access to all the music I love, because I always end up wanting more options than Spotify allows. So if you guys are interested in seeing what that system might look like, let me know.